Hello, and welcome back to another episode of COAGG Conversations. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and here with me today is the incredibly talented VTuber, Shellbunny.
Hello.
Shellbunny, you are the first VTuber that we have had on Confessions of a Gamer Girl, and I'm very excited and thankful that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I have to say, like, your character model is very, very cool. And I'm very impressed with the movement and how it seems to be like responding to you. Um, has your image always been like that, or have you changed it over the years?
It's definitely evolved. As somebody who makes my own avatars, it means I'm quite at the whims of whenever I feel like changing it and changing textures and updating it. I have had probably 20 different iterations that I have streamed with. And I
Okay.
originally started as a magician girl, like a magician rabbit girl. And then I kind of got to a point in my content creation where that sort of theme didn't suit me anymore and didn't suit the content I was making. And then I was like, you know what? Everyone keeps making jokes that I'm actually AI, so I'm going to become a robot. And now I am a robot rabbit lady. So especially sort of coincided with me being really into cyberpunk as well, so that sort of sci-fi aesthetic as well.
Yeah, like it's a very, very cool theme. I can imagine that that kind of creative uh, the creativity that you have and the skills that you have is kind of a blessing, but also a burden, because it's like whenever you have like an intrusive thought of like, you know what, I want to change my hair color or, you know, my hairstyle, it's like immediately like you have to do it.
Yeah, definitely is part of that. I mean, I was on stream yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, somebody was like, oh yeah, I love your model. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's changing like next week. Because I'm updating my outfit and I'm updating my hair textures and a few other things as well, and some of my rigging and coding, because there's coding behind this as well. So and I was like, I'm glad that you love it, but don't get used to it. So
Oh, well, you know what? It's your expression, you know, so it's really not any up to anyone else, is it? It's all you're
yeah,
just
exactly. That's part of why I love it. It is definitely an expression and an extension of my creativity and my brain.
For sure. Now, you are a streamer on Twitch. I've seen you stream. Are you streaming on? Well, I've seen clips from your streams on TikTok. Is there anywhere else people can find your streaming content?
Just on Twitch and TikTok, and then I
Yep.
sometimes post YouTube shorts and things in addition. And I
Mhm.
surprisingly have an Instagram, which is actually mostly my real face. So, which
Yes.
is the complete conflict to my digital self.
I will have all of Shell Bunny's links in the description below, so you can head over and check out her content. I have watched quite a bit, and she's very knowledgeable about a lot of games that she plays. Everything that she plays, she knows lots and lots about, which is really awesome. And she's also very funny and witty. So I
Oh, thank
definitely
you.
recommend. I definitely recommend watching some of her streams and some of her content for sure. Um, so to get started, what what is your background in gaming, and were you always a VTuber? VTuber? How did you start?
I've so shockingly, I've actually been creating content since about 2011, but most of that old content has been deleted or is under different names or is just like not who I am anymore. I used to be a professional Minecraft builder, so I used to get paid to build for servers. So I had a
Yeah.
lot of build videos and tutorials and stuff in that realm as well, and then playing like Minecraft mini games, which is quite funny. I'm actually playing Minecraft this week on my streams. So that's
You'll
sort
be
of
excellent
how,
then.
yeah, something like that. So I started like that, and it was very on and off again. It was very like at the whims of my terrible Australian internet back in 2012, and not really ever showing my face because that's something I've never enjoyed. And then like maybe 2017, 2018, I started trying to stream again with like face cam, and I really wasn't enjoying it, wasn't vibing with it, wasn't being consistent. But technically, I've been a Twitch affiliate for 4 years. So under this branding, under this name, I've been around for 4 years.
Okay. And so because you didn't feel comfortable showing your face, uh, did you did you see VTubers and think, oh, you know, that's the kind of content I would feel comfortable doing? Like, why did you think the move to showing an some sort of face? Why did you think that that was important for your content moving forward?
I was aware of VTubers for a while, and obviously there's been sort of a resurgence of VTubers in the last few years, and real like some really great VTubers topping the charts amongst all streamers, like
Yeah.
Iron Mouse, like pulling
Yeah.
mad numbers all the time. So
Iconic.
I was aware of them, right? And I was like, oh, it's gonna be like hard to get into. My partner, who is also a content creator, was just sort of like, and he's very well aware of why I don't like being in front of the camera and things, and he's like, I think you should give this a try. I think this program here, you can make your own, you can give it a shot, and then you can stream with it. And that led me down a very slippery rabbit hole of for the last few years. And it was just sort of, I guess my aversion to being on camera is more like camera fatigue. And I think it's like you just, I end up staring at myself on OBS instead of actually contributing to stream because I'm so self-conscious, and I spend like 6 hours of streaming just staring and being uncomfortable and not giving my best. And I still wanted interactivity, and for people to see a face, like a brand or something. And so VTubing sort of bridges that gap for me.
Yeah, definitely. Like I have to do my hair, and I have to like, the light has to be on, and just, like it can actually get quite overstimulating knowing that all of your facial expressions are there for everyone to see. So regardless of, what you rate yourself out of 10 appearance wise, like I think the internal sort of struggle and the amount of energy that it takes is probably just not there for everyone.
Yeah, I would spend a lot of time putting on makeup, putting on a different outfit, trying to make sure I look good. And I've never really, I've always had body image issues. So I think that's an important part to talk about, because when you're a content creator, you're generally a face or something, and your body image issues can come to the front of that. And as a plus size person, and having been under different names and different aliases trying content creation before, I'd actually been bullied out of my previous Twitch account because I was on Facecam. So it got me to a point of like that seriously affected how I wanted to participate in the community as Shellbunny until I found VTubing.
Yeah. It's such a big part of content creation, and I would say it's predominantly an issue that a lot of women do face. Looking a certain way, showing up a certain way, having a lot of people comment on your body, some things that you can't even like change about yourself. Like I don't think people actually realize that there's a person behind that photograph, and actually there's a story behind that. So there could be a lot of reasons why a person looks a certain way. I recently, one of the episodes of the podcast, it was the first episode that we had to cancel it because I actually went to hospital as I had like a massive allergic reaction. So there's some medication that I'm taking that increases histamines. And I've never had this kind of allergic reaction before, and my face was like bright red and it was really puffy. And do you know what all I thought about was what I look like, and the fact that I had to like show up on camera for the podcast. And I was like, how silly is that, like that my looks are more important than what's going on the inside. And I think that trend that's going around, that's like men think about the Roman Empire or whatever, like at least once a day. And I think for a lot of women, especially around my age, we think about our size all the time. Like all the time. And it's just crazy. But you know what? I'm here today. I have lip balm on. I don't have a thing of anything on my face.
You look gorgeous.
But I don't look like, I guess it's one of those things. It's like if I was to go and put myself on a stream or whatever, and I'm competing with other women in that space that look fantastic, they've got amazing wigs, and their clothes are perfect and all that kind of stuff. Like you have to think about, all of a sudden you become a product. You become
that's a big part of it.
And it's really difficult to kind of remove that from your mind when you are trying to enjoy yourself and trying to share something that you love. But
Yeah.
you've just hacked it, Shellbunny. You've been like, you know what? I'm just going to throw that out the window, and I can look however I want in whatever universe, whatever story I want to tell about myself. And I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, it definitely feels empowering. And I also know, a few of my friends who are also VTubers who I've met through the OC community who are, they have their own reasons. So some of them are VTubers because it helps with their gender presentation as well. They feel more comfortable if they're a trans person, or they might feel more comfortable just because they're neurodivergent and, might be autistic and they might struggle with cameras. I'm sort of in that category. There's just so many reasons why people do it, and I just think it's such an empowering tool that I think everybody who is a face cam streamer, and we call them flesh tubers just for fun.
Yes, I know.
This horrible word. I think that everyone who is a face cam streamer should also consider maybe even having like a little cartoon character PNG tuber that they switch to when they're not feeling great, so that they can have that interactivity. And I'm always happy to teach people how to do that, because that's knowledge should be shared, and it's something that should make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think, bravo to you for, keeping at it despite the backlash from a very unwelcoming community. That's incredibly hard to do. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I have a really good support network, and living in a very small house with another streamer, it kind of really, really pushes it. So it's a joint effort sort of thing.
Well, that's good. And I think, was that one of your strategies when you were going through this, like keeping in touch with the people who do matter and, kind of prioritizing their feedback rather than the feedback of strangers or people you barely know on the internet?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky that I had a good community already via my partner's community, and also from other attempts at streaming, but also just being around on the internet for a long time. So when I did start streaming with a VTuber, I had a lot of support, and a lot of people sort of going, well, I don't like this aspect of your character, but you could do this, this, and this, and sort of helping me evolve the character over time as well. And, giving me feedback on things they enjoyed, just help build it. Especially now, I can custom code different sort of alerts and things that they can interact with. Like, they can throw me across the screen.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, I wish I could do this. I'm like, I can actually do that. I can totally write that code. Like, if you guys have any other ideas, it's always sort of a community effort, and they love it. And it's a big part as well. We did a panel of packs for VTubers, which was insane, because we live motion captured 5 people on stage at a time. Which is nuts. Very, very complicated sort of system was set up, but that really made me feel like a greater sense of community, because we were all coming together on this technical challenge, and the room was full of like-minded people, and like I've never felt more secure in my decision to be a VTuber as I was on that day, and like ever since then.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like there's more now that you're really in the soup that is VTubing? Do you feel like that there's been a rise in VTubers lately, and therefore more acceptance in the community?
We are definitely in a boom of indie VTubers. There are some people though who will have every intention of being a VTuber, and this is a well-known, well-documented problem in VTubing world, where they have a standard of, I won't go live on Twitch until I get X amount of followers on Twitter or X amount of followers on Twitch already. VTubing has this strange idea of like, if 20 people like this post, I'll slowly reveal my model and things like that. Like they won't start until people actually give them feedback already, or give them acknowledgement already. And I'm very much a fan of just start with whatever you've got. If you want to make content and you have a model that you made in like 10 minutes and you're ready to go, just do it. There's no reason to wait for other people when you could already be having fun playing games and talking to people, rather than tweeting, hey, can you guys retweet this post, and then I'll show you what I look like what my ankles look like today. That sort of slow thing.
VTuber ankles?
VTuber ankles. Like, they'll have these graphics that'll slowly reveal their models as they get more interactions, basically.
I see.
there's sort of a standard that was set through VTubing talent agencies, mostly from Japan, where they'll
Okay.
have a debut, and the debut has to be hyped up before they actually debut and have their first stream, and they'll be completely in character, and then they when they decide to stop streaming, and they might only have a career that's 2-3 years long, and they'll decide to leave, and they'll graduate and disappear from the internet, and it's kind of insane. And I feel people put
Oh.
themselves like, well, that's how the Japanese idol agencies actually handle their VTubers. So this is how I also have to do it. I'm like, no, you're indie. Do whatever you want. You can do it. Like, just start.
It's the internet. You can literally do whatever you want.
Yeah. So there's these just really arbitrary standards that people set on themselves.
Okay.
I'm just like, as a VTuber, just get into it. And I think that holds some people back because they think that they have to be a certain way and do a certain thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've even noticed, like, and maybe it's just the VTubers that I've been exposed to, but it's always quite a similar style. It's that very anime, cartoon kind of vibe. Or I did see one VTuber in a teacup as an animal. So is it usually animals or humanoids that are kind of like anime style? Because I haven't
Definitely.
seen anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the big idol agencies that popularize VTubing are based in Japan and have anime models. And
Okay.
most of them are 2D. So 3D, being a 3D model is actually kind of in the minority, and that's what I am. But the standard for a lot of people is a very highly detailed 2D model that looks like it was screen grabbed straight out of an anime, and is, a lot of the times they're Japanese inspired characters as well. So they might be like demon foxes and things like that. But
Yeah.
VTubing also has like a high proportion of like people in the furry community who VTube, which is cool to see because they usually have really cool like anthropomorphic models as well, which are really different. I get super hyped whenever I see somebody who's not an anime model, and I have an anime sort of inspired model because that's just my limitations right now in the software that I use.
Yeah.
But I saw one recently that was actually like a Renaissance painting brought to life.
Oh, wow.
Like a really gorgeous animation and just look like a moving painting. And I was like, damn, that is so unique and so different and so gorgeous. I really, really hope people like that really thrive. There was another that I saw that was like a 1920s black and white cartoon, like Betty Boop style, and insane.
Cool.
Absolutely
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
That's amazing. People are so clever. But yeah, I guess you're right. A lot of this technology probably it does come out of Japan, and yeah, those character models and those programs will probably have those limitations. So if you're listening and you're thinking about VTubing, maybe I don't know, try something different if you're capable. That would be really awesome, for sure. So what has been your biggest achievement in your content creation so far?
Oh, so I've had kind of a crazy year. This has been like my most high achieving year thus far. I've had a
Love
lot of
that. Bravo.
thank you. It's been the year of the bunny.
Yeah.
I had like I said, the pleasure of being a panelist at PAX on the VTuber panel, and that was tweeted out by Twitch as well because all of us were Twitch streamers, so they celebrated that. It was kind of interesting because we were on stage behind a screen, so nobody could actually see us because we were being motion captured onto our phones behind a screen hooked up to a laptop, like a big black curtain. They put up the curtain before everyone came in, and then the curtain only went down when everyone left. I had no idea how many people were in the room. Until I was told there were a few hundred people watching us and interacting with us and laughing. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I couldn't see them because I would have been terrified. And I was already terrified, but like, it would have been worse. So that was insane. That was really crazy to see that many people come out and like support VTubing and support VTubers in Australia. We had a lot of great questions, and I sort of did my whole, you don't have to wait to debut to start streaming. And everyone was like cheering and like getting really amped up for that as well. So I was like, hey, you got people on board. And just really amazing community there. I also got my first brand deal this year, which was big for me. Thermaltake, which I've got on my sleeves here.
Amazing.
They gave me a shot. I had a bunch of VIP and creator passes for events. I go to usually every convention in Melbourne that I can. So I did DreamHack, TGX, and PAX this year. And yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to yourself. And I think you've been consistent all year. I only started following you this year, but I think overall, like you haven't stopped. And hearing some of the challenges that you faced previously, and that's the very tip of the iceberg. I'm certain. It's amazing and a real credit to you. So
Thank
well
you.
done.
This has definitely been my most consistent year since I started. So I started just streaming 2 days a week, but even then I was often at the whims of like, I just don't feel like I'm not going to do it today. But the step is just to go live as when you can and be regular. And I think I've really got this year. And then I added an extra day, so everyone's getting 33% more Shelby every week.
Love that.
It's going well.
Amazing. What is your favorite part of VTubing?
I actually just love seeing people's reactions to my weird redeems and things like that, where they can throw me across the room or throw objects at me or just sort of have a lot of these interactions that you would actually miss with like a face cam streamer. I mean, yeah, somebody could just like get on a hoverboard and spin around in circles if somebody redeems spin, but it's really automated and like quite funny that people can use that to sort of disturb more serious moments in a game by just like pelting me with plushies and those sort of redeems and figuring out that, which is a whole new software I had to learn this year as well. So people's reactions to that and just watching them, if I tweet, hey guys, I added a new redeem, everyone just like floods in and starts like spamming it. It's, it makes me really happy that they really enjoy that interaction.
Yeah. That's awesome. Are you able to show me here, or is that only through your stream?
Oh, I can. Hang on, I can do. Hang on, I've got buttons. I've got a stream Elgato Stream Deck, which
Love
really
that.
helps with all of this stuff.
Oh,
it's a little aggressive.
Oh my goodness, you poor thing.
Yeah, so that happens. I can trigger that one. They can't trigger that with channel points, but if they give me bits, that one can trigger in. It incentivizes.
That costs a bit extra.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm sort of standing up. So, I can really break things as well, which is great because VTubers are really known for a lot of scuff. Oh, like I've done that. There we go. I'm fixed now. VTubers are known for being very scuffy because we have so much tech involved. I have like a phone that's capturing my facial motion capture, which can mess up. I have like physical bones in my 3D model that could go awry. I have if people redeem too many things, they can actually crash my application. So it's all
aim,
it's all a delicate. Yeah, it's all a delicate balancing act.
So how did you learn this? So you said your partner showed you a program, and then I guess is there YouTube videos out there for people to watch?
He heard about it, this program called Vroid, and then I got it from Steam for free, so it's free. I started learning mostly by YouTube as well there's a YouTuber called Aragama Witch who's made a lot of Vroid tutorials, because not only once you make something a Vroid, that's great, you could export it and use it straight away, but to add things like the extra bones and like extra features, you have to then export into Unity and Blender and do a lot of customized work. So all that is the big learning curve. So I have what is called AR kit tracking, so it's 52 blend shapes done through an iPhone, which means I can puff up my cheeks, I can like really deform my jaw and like do some wild stuff, and that's not part of like the default, so that's all extra learning, and was a long road to get to this point.
Do people must offer this service surely?
And I used to offer it. I do at times to add just like the extra tracking to somebody's existing model. It's easily $100 to get a whole model built in 3D. If from Vroid is like $300 to get a whole custom 3D model built, it's probably $3,000 or more. For a good live 2D model, it's anywhere from $800 to $5,000. VTubing is got a lot of money in it being spent, so artists love to draw for VTubers and make live 2D models because there's a lot of cash in it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, like it's really cool, and I mean, just hearing with the amount of programs that you have to fiddle with, and import and export things into, and then obviously having to run multiple softwares at once, like that sounds very technical to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. But there's also the joy of like, because I stream this way, I don't have to worry about what the room behind me looks like. Like I know a lot of streamers put neon lights and purple colored lights and figurines and cool stuff behind them, and they they
Mm-hmm.
pay extra for like a really good webcam. So my focus is just like shifting priorities onto, I have special equipment. I have the Elgato multi-mount with a pop socket mount on it to mount my phone above my desk as well, so it can capture my face. That sends over to like an OMC protocol to my computer, to all of the other software. Stream Deck is absolutely something all VTubers need to live by that because of all the buttons and toggles. And
I think any streamer, to be honest, or anyone who's creating content, I love my Stream Deck, and COAGG loves Elgato. So
absolutely, yeah. But there's always a trade-off of like, I spend money on VTuber tech, but I don't have to spend money on a background and stuff. So I'm just in a dingy bedroom right now.
No, but I mean, that's the payoff. You don't have to pay money for, like if you wanted to look like this, you wouldn't have to pay for the makeup or the wigs or, anything like that.
Yeah. Yet I still spent $500 dyeing my hair pink, but nobody gets to see it except in real life.
Well, like you said, you do have your Instagram that people can go and see, both you and your partner. Is there a reason why you're okay with that?
It has been a long road of building confidence. There's like this long period of my life where there's like no photos of me that exist. Growing up has always been a plus size girl, and going through like a lot of trauma and things like that has made me not really that confident. But I've gone through a time of like learning to like myself a bit more. And although it's not the answer for everyone, I lost like a lot of weight. I had a weight loss surgery, which was a whole mental process in itself. And that change and sort of feeling healthier in my body. But also being like, well, now I can buy the clothes that I wanted to buy, because it's sort of a shame in the clothing industry that there aren't enough brands that cater to larger sizes. And it's a big problem. I could talk for hours about that. I used to work in a plus size fashion company. Like I know the stuff. But now being a smaller size, I've been like, okay, I can just buy a few more things. So now people have started to go, oh, I can recognize you at events because you're always dressed in like a really colorful way or a really out there way. I dress in a really usually attention grabbing style now, which is a polar opposite to what I was like 4 years ago. And I'm like living for it. I'm enjoying it and enjoying building that confidence, and people noticing me now is not terrifying. So it's, as much as I stream as a VTuber, now I can show who I am in the real world. I'm feeling confidence in both aspects. And I also just wanted to not feel fear going to events, because going to IRL events is like a big part of streaming for a lot of people. Going to like PAX is like the pilgrimage every year. Going to like the Xbox events and things like that hosted, that we get invited to, or the movie premieres. I went to the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes this week.
I saw that. Very nice.
Yeah, that was great fun. And now I find myself more excited than I used to be terrified. I'm still terrified of mostly talking to people. I have a lot of social anxiety, but I'm now letting myself break the ice through how I dress, and I'm okay with it. And having that Instagram is like a big step in like being visible. And because I'm used to trying to make myself invisible and trying to take up less space. And I think now that I can do the opposite is very important. And I feel good about it.
I really resonate with a lot of things that you've said about feeling like you don't want to take up space because you don't feel like you can be 100% yourself. Because I mean, one simple thing is, you can't find the kind of clothes that you want to wear in your size. And just one thing like that, struggling your whole life through that, can definitely does have an impact for sure. I personally, like, just one example that I've had to learn myself, being I'm a plus size girl as well. And, going to the pool, for example, I have 2 young kids, and going to the pool, and I'm also a teacher as well. I see myself as more of an example, if that makes sense. Like, because not everyone looks the same, and that's totally okay. But what's not okay is not having proper representation or modeling of different kinds of people. And because I do live in a small town, I think it is important for me to have courage, and to not limit myself just because of how much flesh I have, to use that word. And, like, when I first got into content creation myself, I didn't really see anyone that looked like me, and I kind of just thought to myself, well, if no one looks like me, I probably should put myself out there, right? Because there's probably other people that feel that same way too. Yeah, especially women.
Yeah, look, there's absolute joy in becoming visible, I think is my takeaway. And it's so freeing now that I can rock up to an event in sunflower patterned overalls and like, you know, gaudy shoes and pink hair, and people are like, yo, that's Shelby. Yeah, they don't have to see me from close up. They just know it's me. And there's just so much love in that. And, you know, it's a great feeling. And I think there is a lot of issues with like body image in any sort of content creation, not just gaming. And I think people tend to ignore it in gaming, being like, it's just games. Like, you're just playing games on a computer. Like, it doesn't matter. No, it has mattered, and it does matter to a lot of people. And a lot of, I think, even opportunities. I honestly, if we want to get down to like the hard talks, is I think that a lot of brands will only go after people, women and men, who fit a certain aesthetic with their bodies, and nobody's willing to admit that a lot of the time. And we even see in VTubing, there are not a lot of plus size VTuber models out there.
No, that's right.
Because I can think of one, and she got harassed for it.
Yeah, but like if you were going to create your perfect body, why would you pick a big one? That's basically what that's saying.
And that's the thing. Like, I wanted to make my character like curvier and things like that, so I had to edit her in Blender to have a thicker waist and a thicker butt, because you know, wider body, because the program that I was using to design the initial base of the character doesn't allow it. And that's a problem.
Honestly, we've spoken about this before, and it doesn't only exist like, you know, in gaming itself representing women. It's representation of size. There are no plus size guys. There are no like plus size women. There are no older men and older women. Like, we had Haughty Chicken on here. Incredible woman. And she's actually, I think she mentioned on her Twitter that she's getting a VTuber model done for herself on the days where she doesn't feel like, you know, putting herself on camera. And she came on and we spoke many times, because brands have reached out to her and said, oh, you know, we'd love to collaborate with you. And she's like, yeah, but like, I look at all the advertisements and I don't see anyone that looks like me or my friends or, you know, the people that I play games with. And the fact of the matter is, most of the gaming population is actually like aging, and not everyone looks like a cute kawaii, you know, ew, like we don't, you know what I mean? And so I think that's another reason why I have personally, I feel like I'm talking about too much about me, but, you know, making sure that I am on the camera, because at the end of the day, like, the real confession is there's not enough of the real out there, you know? And, you know, for various reasons. And I think, you know, VTubing is such a powerful tool for people who have such fantastic knowledge, fantastic personalities, and they do deserve a platform where they feel comfortable. But yeah, that we still have so much of a long way to go with representation.
Yeah. And I think we're right now seeing a great resurgence on places like TikTok, where there's a lot of lifestyle influencers and fashion and beauty influencers who are coming into sort of their prime, who are plus size people, which is fantastic. And I love seeing that. But and to see more of it in gaming would be awesome as well. Just like, a lot of us spend a lot of our time in our chairs. You know, maybe we're like similar to people.
Yeah. You know what? Like, well, you know, I didn't become this way from, you know, going to the gym 24/7 every day. We are fully aware. But, you know, moderation and, you know, balance in life is very important for everyone.
Yes. And I more mean it's a case of like, gaming attracts a lot of people who are similar, in a sense of like, you know, there's a lot of neurodivergent gamers, and there's actually a big crossover between like neurodivergency and you know, people struggling with body image. And it's like, when there's a Venn diagram, it's almost a circle of like people who is very similar. And I think that's important to acknowledge. And I think we need more representation through all brands and all levels of life. But we need more accessibility with clothes for people who of different aesthetics, rather than, I mean, growing up, as when I was quite young, and my mum would take me to Miller's to buy clothes, and that's the old lady clothing shop.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I saw some pajamas at Suzanne, and I was like, they're a bit cute.
Some of them are changing. Some of them are changing the tunes.
So I don't know. I don't know if am I getting old? Is this the start? Is this when I start thinking?
Like, am I going to see a grey hair in the mirror and suddenly want to go to Miller's again? Like,
I already have grey hair. It's yeah. It's from my job, and it's from my children. So, that's yes. But you know what? I just feel like it's never ending, and I just don't want, because I have 2 daughters. I don't want them to ever feel like they have to think about it 24/7 about how much space they're taking up in this world.
That's the goal, isn't it? Like, to make it better for the people who come after us. And that's something I think about as well. With, as much as I say my streams are 18+, it doesn't mean that younger people aren't being exposed to my content online. That's something we need to be conscious of, because we can put up as many age gates as we want, but you might show up on somebody's TikTok feed regardless. And I think remembering that is very important.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We all have a responsibility for the content that we put out there. And you know what? If you don't care, well, then, the repercussions, you'll just have to accept them, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Shellbunny, what does the future hold for you? We're at the end of 2023 now. You've kicked a lot of goals this year. How are you feeling ending the year, and what do you hope for next year?
That is great. I really want to just focus on being consistent, because that is something I've always struggled with. Being neurodivergent, being consistent can sometimes be very difficult. Just consistently showing up to events and showing up for people, but also consistently just producing my own content, making sure I stick with my streaming schedule is important. But also, one thing I really want to do is maybe PAX next year, maybe if somebody's listening, to host a workshop on how to be a VTuber for free or cheap, and to show people 3 different ways that they can do it, whether they want to be like a 2D one, a 3D one, or like a PNG one, and host that.
I'm keen. Put me down, Shellbunny. PAX, we're friends, we're mutuals. Let's talk. I will. Yeah. I'm so down for that. Love
so we'll see what happens. Maybe I can make it happen. Maybe I can't. But either way, I'll continue trying to teach people. But at the moment, actually, I'm learning how to draw, because I used to do a lot of art growing up, and obviously I made this character. But I actually bought myself a drawing tablet, which 13-year-old me would be very happy that I have one. And I'm going back and learning how to draw, and also in that sense making like stream assets for people. So just continuing to develop and evolve and make more and do more and be more present is important.
For sure. Some little I don't know, do you have like little Shellbunny little merch, little stickers?
I should do stickers. I plan to do stickers for PAX next year, because I get really envious when I see people handing out stickers and pins about themselves. I'm like, man, I really need to do that. I have some great memes that I can turn into stickers that only my viewers will understand. And we send those out into the world. I was raised in a very creative family, so my mother actually also has like a store where she crochets, and she also sells stickers and stuff like that. So I can work with her, and maybe she can print me some stickers and make me some merch. But it's difficult if you're a small streamer in Australia trying to have a merch store, because we all know the trouble. Suppliers, shipping costs. Oh my god.
The shirts that we got for PAX, the Confessions of a Gamer Girl ones that I got done, were incredibly overpriced for what they are. And yeah, unless you've got the tools yourself, or someone, or because Officeworks just doesn't do everything that we want, so
Officeworks needs to do more. They'd make a lot of money from us.
I know.
Need it.
For sure, definitely.
My partner wears a hat with his stream name on it all the time. Like, it's just his branding now. He's always wearing this damn baseball hat with his logo on the front. And it's gotten to a point where we'd be at an event, like at a premiere, photographers take our picture, and online he's under Getty Images as they've looked him up because of what is on his hat, and they've found him, and they're like zombies love bacon plus guest, because I'm guest, you know. And it's like,
You're the plus
man,
one.
the branded stuff, walking around in your own branded stuff seems to do the trick, you know, makes you identifiable.
Yeah, definitely. I was well, I like to think so, although people for the first time ever at PAX did approach me knowing what I look like. So that was a
How
bit
was that? Was that scary?
I was honestly, I was taken aback by it. Like obviously, I get ready in the morning and I think, okay, like if someone sees me, I'm okay with what they'll see. Obviously over the day that slowly deteriorates with the amount of walking and sweat. Hello, 30,000 steps a day. But yeah, no, it was kind of wild because I don't consider myself that notable. But I have been putting myself out there a lot. So, but I'm not doing it to be famous. I'm just doing it because it feels good.
That's what you do.
And I like doing it, not because I want to be famous.
I had a wild interaction where I was just talking to a bunch of friends at a meetup, and then I tweeted earlier in the day. Every morning at PAX, I always tweet a picture of myself so people remember what I look like, because I'm a VTuber. Like my face is not always there. And I'm like, okay, guys, if you see me, feel free to say hi. And I had somebody come over to me and be like, are you Shellbunny? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, hang on. They go over and they grab their friend by the arm and hoist their friend over to me. And they're just like, see, I told you it's her. And then, I had this great interaction with somebody who was just like a bit of a sort of a fan about what I do, and was like happy to meet me, and was really, really sweet. But they weren't 100% sure. But it was very cute.
No, what I am usually it's usually the opposite way around. Like the other person is really sure that I'm Doom Cutie, and but I assume that I know the person.
Oh yeah,
and that's when the shift of, hang on, there are people out there in the world that know what I look like, but I don't know what they look like or their name. And that was kind of the switch that I had to flick in my mind, that no, people are going to come up to you because of the content that you make, and you're not going to know who they are.
Yeah, I had that as well. I have really bad facial blindness. Sometimes I really don't recognize people. And I had a few people come up and have full conversations with me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's great to see. And then I turned to my partner and I was like, I hate to be this person, but I have no fucking idea who that is. Like, and then he's like, oh, it's W. I'm like, I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. I had to get that confirmation. But we get through the weekend eventually.
If I'm in a group setting and I can't, like, let's say I know, like, I recognize a person, but I can't remember their name. And there's a person there who doesn't know who they are. This is their first time meeting them. You say, oh, have you met this such and such? And then usually the other person's like, oh, hi, I'm such and such. And then you get the name. That's
such a life hack. I love that.
Yeah.
Most of my meetings, I feel like at PAX, and like people I hadn't met before but knew, and mutuals were for years, was drunk people in the bathrooms at the Fortress PAX Gala. And I was like, and I was like dressed up really nice. Like I had this really pretty dress on, and just girlhood is drunk girls in the bathroom complimenting you and like being really sweet. Absolute best moment. And meeting people and just being like, wait, are you Shellbunny? I'm like, oh wait, no, I know you. And then people showing pictures of each other's cats like in the bathroom. So that was one of my favorite times of meeting people rather than at PAX itself.
Oh, well, it's so awesome that you've, continued and got that courage, and, you've put yourself out there, and because you've done that, because you've been brave enough to do that, because you've been resilient enough to do that, you've had all these amazing experiences, and it just makes you want to do more.
It does. It gets a little bit easier every time. That's what I'll say to people who are scared. And I think, I had a friend there who had never been to PAX before and had been slightly interacting online with my community and stuff. But she was actually someone I went to high school with, and I took her with me to PAX. She was like crashing on my couch the whole weekend. And that means she was at all of the events and all of like the press stuff that I was doing as well, all of the panels. So I took her to the Bethesda party, took her to Fortress PAX Gala, took her to all the after parties. And she was just like blown away by the amount of people I was introducing her to. But she had a great time. And I just know that next time when I drag her to the next convention, it's going to feel a little bit easier, because just repetition and meeting people and just getting used to that flow, I think really helps.
Yeah. And, even if that stuff isn't for you, that's totally okay as well.
yeah, it's okay to sit at home. It's okay to watch, interact with the people who are going, but not be going yourself. It's okay to
Yeah,
be somebody who just shows up for the after parties if that's more your vibe as well. You don't have to have a PAX ticket to go to most of the after parties.
that's true. That's very true. I honestly, as much as I want everyone to come and everyone to be involved, I know that there are two kinds of people. There are the people that put stuff up there, but then there also has to be the people that consume it as well. So yeah, it's definitely a balance.
Not every
And
streamer can always be a viewer, and not every viewer can always be a streamer.
I know, and
you
I
need
felt
both.
this is something I struggle with as well. It's like I follow a lot of people on Twitch, on across socials, but trying to like keep up with everyone and everything is kind of overwhelming, to be honest, because
Yeah.
obviously, we're kind of in our own kind of content bubble, and then we have like a few kind of people that we interact with because we collaborate with them or we see them a lot. I don't know how people like keep up with 20, 30, 50 Twitch streamers and know
Yeah.
exactly what all of them are doing.
I know. I don't understand it either. And I feel quite bad sometimes when I think about like, oh, all my friends are streaming, but I can't really go in and say hello to them every day that they're streaming, or, support them in everything that they do, because we just don't have enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
I oftentimes I'm so burnt out that I just want to sit here in silence and like not have to consume content. Just want to like sit there and draw and like just draw pictures and or tinker with my VTuber and not really have to interact. And I think making sure you have the downtime is important, because we all probably have really bad screen addictions. We need to take a break when we can. But staring at streams when you're not fully into it and making yourself sit there and watch them isn't great for anybody. But always make sure to stop by every so often and say hello to your friends is how I play it.
I try and like and comment on if I see it on Instagram or Twitter. If I know that I can't attend, I try and do that, and then that kind of makes me feel better.
Yeah. Or retweet them so that they get a signal boost as well. Always helpful.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but there's a lot of levels there to sorry, to deal with. But yeah, so next year, 2024, we're going to see you at TGX.
Yeah. TGX and DreamHack and PAX, no matter if I have to pay for a ticket or if somebody invites me. Either way, I'm always going to be there. I live in the heart of Melbourne, so
okay,
it'd be weird if I didn't show up.
Yeah, that'd be kind of that wouldn't be cool.
And there are a lot of it makes getting there cheaper. I used to live in the country, so my first PAX I only stayed during the day. My second PAX I had to have accommodation, so it wasn't great. But then now I live in the city, which makes it a lot easier. But I also see people a lot of other events. Like there was the Xbox Fan Fest event this year as well, so I ran into a lot of streamers during that. So I'm always bumping into people because I try to go to everything in Melbourne that I can.
Yeah. That's amazing. What about, so your content, you're going to continue with the stream? Is there a goal of, I don't know, how many, brand collaborations you want to do? Any people you want to do collabs with?
I think I thrive more on doing solo content. I think that's when I have the better reactions from people, and the better interaction with my chat. I think I get really overwhelmed being neurodivergent and like having to focus on somebody else being there and having to also stream, and it makes it hard for me. So I think a lot of it's going to be solo. So I don't necessarily have a collab goal. I will be continuing to build my website. I also have a website called Pixel Nook, where I post articles about events and games that are coming up, and sometimes films. And I actually have got too many sort of indie games coming across my desk at the moment, so I've brought on some writers who are now, they have keys, they're playing games, they're writing about them. So we'll be expanding that and sharing those, and spotlighting a lot of games, a lot of them Australian as well, because I love the local indie scene. Looking forward to Broken Roads when that comes out next year, because that had a little bit of delay. So there's always a lot going on, and I think for now my main goal is I want to hit the 1,000 followers on Twitch, and then I want to start streaming on TikTok consistently, because I signed up with an agency, so I have to do that. But I want to get like good at it and feel comfortable doing it, because it's an entirely different ball game to streaming on Twitch. It's a whole different sort of vibe and a whole different community and a whole different sort of approach to streaming. You can only stream games that are going to capture somebody's attention in 0.2 seconds. So like puzzle games and sort of like things they can see visually very fast, or games that are really popular work well on TikTok. And you can't swear, you can't say certain words, or you'll get shadow banned really fast, and your stream will go from 70 people down to 5.
Okay.
It's crazy. We have like a lot of information they've given us about like how to succeed on TikTok. So whole different beast. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, look up how the algorithm and everything works for lives on TikTok. It's insane. But yeah, just getting really good at TikTok would be fun to have a different sort of challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think I personally am shadow banned on TikTok. I don't know why, but like my algorithm only shows my videos to like 300 people, and I don't know why. So yeah, and I can't go live. So
300 to 400 is like where it caps out for me too sometimes, until I have one that just pops off randomly. It's like, okay, I guess that's fine. Yeah,
I don't know. It's a strange beast.
Very
TikTok.
weird platform. Yeah,
for sure. Well, yeah, that's amazing, and it seems like you're very aware of what's important for you as a person, and it's very clear that your goals and the way that you approach your work is very mindful of that. Like, it doesn't seem like you're stretching yourself too thin with your real life, your actual job, and streaming.
Sometimes I am, but yeah, I have a very intense real job as well. It can be. When the servers go down, it can be. I work in tech, so.
Yes, well, I suppose that would definitely help with any kind of streaming and problem solving and troubleshooting on the fly. And
actually, it's
sort
of the other way around. I was like, I've made content online for years, and like I know a lot about computers as a result. I'm like, you should hire me. I'm a big nerd, and it worked.
You know what? Yeah, totally. You know what? You miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So, and like I am, personally, I've racked up a lot of skills. Creating my own podcast, doing content. It's something that not a lot of people know how to do, or like a select section of people. And I think
it comes on your resume. Hey, I know how to learn software really quickly. Like I'll figure out how to use something really fast. I know how to build a computer. That always impresses people, like who don't know much about building computers. I can build a computer. It's good. And I know how to open a PDF, and you can get started.
Yep. For sure. I taught myself the other day how to, so someone put a picture inside a Google Doc, and you can't just like get the picture out. You have to, I taught myself how to do it. You have to like save it as a web file, and then you have to extract everything, and then you get the words and the pictures all separately. That's how you do it.
I didn't know that. Now I know. I learned something today.
If your writers are collaborating on something and they put their pictures inside the Word doc, that's how you download it.
Dang, that is really useful. I'm going to remember that, storing that in the back of my brain. under the Roman Empire, that is me thinking about pigeons.
Oh my goodness. Shellbunny, you're a hoot. You're amazing. Thank you for being in this community. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your journey in content creation. Is there anything that you would like to share with people listening or watching before we finish off?
Like my links, or or what I'm doing, or what to do? Can I tell them what to do?
You can, yeah, sure.
If you want to be a VTuber, just do it. Don't wait for a debut. That's my number one thing I tell everyone. Just do it. If you want to start streaming and all you have is a laptop and it's half broken and all the keys are missing, just do it. Just start.
I have a photo for you, Shellbunny. I
want to see the OG setup.
Oh, babe, it's not a vibe. It's not a vibe.
We all start somewhere before we have cute setups,
That is very true. And it's not looking cute at the moment. I've been doing a lot of work, and you can tell it shows. It's not aesthetic at the moment, and that's okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Shellbunny, and thank you to everyone who's listening on Spotify and who's watching on YouTube. If you are listening on Spotify, please do come to our YouTube and check out Shellbunny. She's very cute, and she works really well with the clouds that we have going on.
This is a very visual experience, so yes, come to YouTube.
I will have all of Shellbunny's links, like I said at the beginning of the episode, in the description. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you to our brand sponsor, Elgato, and we will see you all next episode of COAGG Conversations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.